Did you know education in order to guarantee their future even in difficult times? Purchase an education policy early in your child's life to avoid the pressure that parents face when children join kindergarten, high school, college or university. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured. Coronavirus disease is now spreading within counties in Kenya, from person to person through contact with droplets when an infected person speaks, coughs or sneezes, or through touching contaminated surfaces and objects. Anybody with a weakened body immunity has a greater risk of contracting coronavirus disease. People living with pre-existing medical conditions such as HIV, cancer, TB, diabetes among others must adhere to their treatment to strengthen immunity and therefore should ensure they have a constant supply of necessary medicines. Contact your clinic or health facility for information on how to access treatment. Help others within your network to access adequate supply of essential medicines. Ensure that you remain connected with your local networks for any support and follow the medical guidelines provided by your health facility to prevent coronavirus. Remember to stay updated with information on coronavirus using only trusted reliable channels. For more information on COVID-19, call 719 or dial *719#. COVID-19 is preventable. Protect yourself, your family, and the community. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome finally breaks her silence over the appointment of the 6 judges and urges President Uhuru Kenyatta to swear in the 6 as enshrined in law. And of course, the CJ at the same time expressed her dissatisfaction with the judiciary's budget allocation in the just 2021-2022 budget tabled before Parliament. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Channel 1 Weekend this Friday, the 11th day of June 2021. Glad to have you tuned in. You're right on time for a comprehensive coverage of all the day's events as they happened here in Kenya and around the world. Let's begin with the highlights.
We counsel His Excellency the President and the Honorable the Chief Justice to urgently consult and resolve any disparities and issues between the two arms of government amicably.
All persons recommended by the JSC and as directed by the Constitution must be appointed as judges.
The National Council of Churches calls for a truce between the executive and the judiciary, even as the Chief Justice Martha Koome maintains the remaining 6 judges should be appointed.
Usiseme kwamba rege imesimama au isimamishwe. Hiyo sio kazi ya watu wa kanisa. Wewe omba mambo yako kule, soma Biblia na kila kitu. Wache sisi tuendelee mbele. Kama rege itaendelea, tumaneke tulisema ati nobody can.
Building Bridges Initiative proponents dismiss calls to hold the referendum after the 2022 general election.
Competence-based curriculum is a revolutionary step that we took as a country to provide our learners with 21st century practical skills relevant to the needs of the present day. I trust and believe that the Aga Khan University will deliver on the same.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta wants universities to invest in research and training in support of Kenya's new competency-based curriculum. And feedback always welcome and appreciated at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. Use the hashtag Channel 1 Weekend to tweet us. We are also live on all our social media platforms. My name is Purity Museo and Lucy Mwaura is our sign language interpreter tonight. Let's kick off this broadcast. Chief Justice Martha Koome has appealed to President Uhuru Kenyatta to swear in the 6 judges he declined to appoint as recommended by the Judicial Service Commission, saying it was enshrined in law. Speaking during the swearing-in and assumption of office of Justice Daniel Musinga as President of Court of Appeal, Koome at the same time expressed her dissatisfaction in the judiciary's budget allocation and reiterated the need for more funding.
I, Daniel K. Musinga, Justice of the Court of Appeal, do swear in the name of the Almighty God.
While pledging support to the newly installed President of the Court of Appeal, Judge David Musinga, Chief Justice Martha Koome has insisted that all persons nominated by the JSC must be appointed in accordance with the Constitution, sentiments echoed by the President of the Law Society of Kenya, Nelson Harvey.
As the Chief Justice and as the Chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission, and state that all persons recommended by the JSC and as directed by the Constitution must be appointed as judges. That is the law. I am a judge. I do not want to enter into any controversy.
You must deliver to the Court of Appeal victory at all costs and redeem the Court of Appeal from the shame of being the graveyard of jurisprudence.
She seized the opportunity to defend the independence of the judiciary, which she claimed was under threat of capture by private and public sector players.
The independence of the judiciary remains under serious threat of capture, and the culprits, unfortunately, are not only limited to agencies within government or politics. To me, these unsolicited commands are tantamount to interference with the judges' independence, as the Constitution forbids any party or authority from directing us in the discharge of our duties.
The CJ also announced that the Court of Appeal judges will now revert to sitting at stations outside Nairobi that have been inoperative since 2019 due to the shortage of appellate judges. National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi and Attorney General Kihara Kariuki also guaranteed Justice Musinga of their support to ensure the Court of Appeal delivers on its mandate.
Even though we are all required to interpret the Constitution, the final and authoritative interpretation of the Constitution is vested in the judiciary, and that we always uphold.
But I would commend you to the 3 C's, which we spoke about so often when I was a judge. The C of courage, the C of collegiality, and the C of civility.
The executive can't criticize other arms of government as its democratic right, but so can others. But we must do it constructively, and we must find solutions to our problems that will ensure we strengthen the governance of this country instead of weakening it.
Justice Musinga pledged to implement the shared vision of his predecessor, Justice Ouko, who has since been elevated to Supreme Court judge.
And the vision that guides the court is to be, and I quote again, the ultimate custodian of appellate justice delivered with integrity, ease of access, effectiveness, responsiveness, transparency, and accountability to all. I am committed to providing servant leadership that will enable the court deliver on its mandate in the challenging times we find ourselves in.
Justice Musinga, the third president of the Court of Appeal, first task will be to appoint a bench to hear an appeal filed by the government over the quashing of Building Bridges initiative process, and has the heavy task of tackling the backlog of cases which have accumulated to 8,412 cases as of today. For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troinjue.
Staying with the judicial report, the National Council of Churches of Kenya has called on President Uhuru Kenyatta and Chief Justice Martha Koome to urgently consult and resolve any disparities between the executive and judiciary. National Council of Churches of Kenya Secretary General Reverend Canon Chris Kenyanjui has warned that the public display of a dispute between the two arms of government was tearing the nation. Ben Chumba reports.
Refusal by the president to appoint 4 judges to the appellate court appeared to have worsened the already frosty relationship between the executive and the judiciary. The supremacy battle between the two arms of government has even attracted public condemnation, with the clergy now willing to mediate.
This executive committee has followed with trepidation the continuing dispute between the executive and the judiciary. We counsel His Excellency the President and the Honorable the Chief Justice to urgently consult and resolve any disparities and issues between the two arms of government amicably.
National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, is concerned that scathing attacks between the two institutions are totally uncalled for, as they set a bad example in protecting the rule of law in the country.
The public display of disputes is tearing the nation apart and should be brought to an end. There is need for the three arms of government to exercise and project respect for each other on how they relate to each other, so as to set a good example for all Kenyans, especially the youth, on respect for the adherence to the rule of law and compliance with the Constitution.
With barely 13 months to the 2022 general elections, the clergy has cautioned against the postponement of the 2022 general elections and instead called on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) to prioritize 2022 general elections.
We urge Parliament to consider any other essential reforms that are crucial to ensure that the next year's elections are peaceful, credible, free and fair. For this reason, this executive committee calls upon the promoters of the BBI to postpone the process until after the 2022 general elections.
But speaking separately, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya accused judiciary of dictatorial tendencies.
The real dictator is not the president, it's those who are attacking and trying to intimidate him from doing his job the way he understands it. Those are the real dictators, and that's the real danger our democracy faces, where people who have no mandate from the people are usurping power.
Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Let's now shift our focus to politics. The Building Bridges initiative proponents are now urging members of the clergy to steer clear of the constitutional amendment issues and give room for Court of Appeal to make its ruling. Attending the burial of former Kibwezi MP Kalembe Ndile in Mbuinzau, Makueni County, the leaders took issues with the suggestions that the plebiscite should be held after the 2022 general election, insisting that the wave to amend the Constitution cannot be stopped.
It was at the burial of former Kibwezi Member of Parliament in Mbuinzau, Makueni County, where opposition leaders disagreed with proposals by religious leaders to have the constitutional amendment process postponed or abandoned completely.
Mimi ni mtu wa Mkristo, lakini sisi tunaomba Wakristo na viongozi wa kanisa waache sisi kama wanasiasa tuangalie mambo ya siasa. Usiseme ya kwamba rege imesimama au isimamishwe. Hiyo sio kazi ya watu wa kanisa. Wewe omba mambo yako kule, soma Biblia na kila kitu. Wache sisi tuendelee mbele.
Kwa hivyo tungojee kwanza, tusianze kutoa malalamishi. By the way, sio mara ya kwanza kanisa ilikuwa na sauti juu ya Constitution 2010 na tukawasikiliza, lakini wananchi wa Kenya wakapitisha katiba ya 2010 ambayo imeleta mamlaka makubwa mashinani.
They promised to lead the campaigns in convincing the people to support the referendum once the appeal court pronounces itself on the matter.
Rege itaendelea. Tumaneke tulisema ati nobody can stop. Tuendelee. Wangapi nasema tuendelee?
Nimesikia jana kama Chief Justice ya zamani amesema lazima wabunge wa impeach president. Lakini mimi nataka uliza, kuna barua aliandikia president akasema bunge is unconstitutional, inafaa ifunjwe. Sasa kitu bandia kama sisi ndio tena tu impeach president. Yeye mwenyewe amesema sisi ni bandia.
The calls for unity of purpose were also rife, with Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu urging other Kamba leaders to work together and also form alliance with other like-minded leaders.
Ni kwa sababu gani hamuwezi mkafanya namna hiyo? Na nitajaribu, Mungu asaidie. Nitajaribu mimi mwenyewe nione kama naweza kuwaleta pamoja. Kwa sababu ya hii ngosa too much also.
Tusiambiwe tu tuende tu hivi. Tuulize what is the capacity of this person. Madam Charity Ngilu amesema tuungane tuchague mtu mmoja, ndio lazima.
Charity, I wanted to know, Kalonzo will not run alone. Kwanza Mungu ako pamoja nasi. All right? Tuko na ndugu Raila ambaye tunajuana sana. All those 10 years ya kungangana bila kuogopa.
And speaking separately, Tiati Member of Parliament William Kapket exuded confidence that the Court of Appeal will rule in favor of the Building Bridges Initiative process.
Bado niko na imani kwamba appeal itafaulu na tutafanya referendum before the end of this year. Yes. Na hiyo katiba itakuja. Kwa sababu hawa wananchi wanataka hivyo.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, President Uhuru Kenyatta wants universities to invest in research and training in support of Kenya's new competency-based curriculum. The head of state at the same time urged the learning institutions to concentrate on producing graduates capable to handle global challenges. President Kenyatta spoke in Nairobi when he awarded a charter to the Aga Khan University, Kenya.
I guess that is the handing over of the power.
President Uhuru Kenyatta Friday awarded a charter to the Aga Khan University, Kenya. It is here where the president reminded Kenyan universities to ensure they offer quality education. At the same time, the president directed regulatory institutions in the education sector to execute their mandate fully in order to ensure the quality of university education is not compromised.
The competence-based curriculum is a revolutionary step that we took as a country to provide our learners with 21st century practical skills relevant to the needs of the present day. I trust and believe that the Aga Khan University will deliver on the same and produce excellent graduates who can tackle a multitude of challenges, improve their current situations, and positively affect our society to become responsible global citizens.
On research, the president challenged universities to be at the forefront in providing solutions to emerging challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic.
You must all strive to remain compliant to both the pragmatic and institutional standards set by our professional regulatory bodies, such as the Commission for University Education.
I'm very glad indeed, because the hospital is on the other side. What is giving this place the university look is the building that we have inspected today.
During the event, President Uhuru Kenyatta also inaugurated the Aga Khan University's new 5 billion shillings ultra-modern building. The building will be the university's main campus in Kenya. housing, its Graduate School of Media and Communications, Medical College, School of Nursing and Midwifery, Institute for Human Development, as well as the Brain and Mind Institute, among other programs. His Highness the Aga Khan, who is the Chancellor of the Aga Khan University, addressed the occasion via video link, saying the awarding of charter to Aga Khan is a vote of confidence in the university. With the award of the charter, the Aga Khan University becomes Kenya's 21st private chartered university. Irene Mchuma, Odim, Channel 1.
And still ahead, Kenya reports 488 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. That report coming up shortly after this commercial break. Don't go too far.
Did you know life is uncertain? Do not leave anything to chance. Protect the financial needs of your family in case you die or lose income due to terminal or critical illness. Take up a life insurance policy today to protect the financial future of your loved ones. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Is your mind thinking what my mind is thinking?
Maybe this trash of a school is finally closing. Will you wipe that spark of a smile out of your face? Is that something to be happy about?
Now guys, I want us to write down the craziest, not the craziest, the most impossible day I would want someone to do.
My guys, when you are poor, but this thing is very, very important. I got to go.
Madam, what's the hurry for? You mean you don't want to fall in love? You know I'm the only way I can quench your thirst.
I do not have any thirst. Thank you.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Welcome back. You're watching Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night. Lucy Mwaura is our sign language interpreter. Kenya Friday recorded 488 positive cases out of a sample size of 5,831 tested in the last 24 hours. The statistics come as AIDS Healthcare Foundation Kenya now wants the greatest world economies to help poor countries in the vaccination against COVID-19 disease. The organization is pushing for vaccine manufacturing patent waiver to reduce inequalities in COVID vaccine access between developing countries and the developed world.
The number that tested positive today is 488 out of a sample size of 5,831 tested in the last 24 hours. This translates to a positivity rate of 8.4%. Sadly, 16 people have succumbed to the virus. As of today, the country has vaccinated 1,095,122 people. This is as AIDS Healthcare Foundation Kenya is pushing for the G7 countries to help vaccinate the world. The lobbyists claim vaccinating the first world countries and leaving out African continent without doses is a work in futile.
What we are asking for is we want Africa to be vaccinated. We want the local production, we are asking for technology transfer, and we are also asking for waiver on the trips.
AHF has in the meantime welcomed the move by the US government to donate 500 million Pfizer coronavirus vaccine doses to lower-income countries and the African Union.
Also UK also followed suit, so we are here lobbying the German government to also follow suit in terms of trips waiver, because that is the only way we are going to ensure at least the developing countries have equality to the COVID access.
In Kisii, police have started implementing the COVID-19 laws following an upsurge of cases in the county. Police launched a crackdown on hotels and bars flouting the rules.
Now we are going to cancelling of your licenses. We have agreed in our intergovernmental committee with the county government that we shall cancel all the licenses of the bar operators who are flouting COVID-19 protocols moving forward.
Siaya County Emergency Response Committee has in the meanwhile declared funerals out of bound for politicians and other leaders as a measure of containing the spread of the COVID-19 in the county.
In supporting the County Emergency Response Committee in our effort to contain the spread of the virus in the county by being risk communication champions and also by limiting their participation in activities that attract public gatherings.
Out of the 47 COVID-19 deaths recorded in the county, 28 occurred in the last 2 months. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
Elsewhere, Water Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki has warned the contractor of Kerugoya Kutu's sewerage project at Ahiti Ndomba site, Mwea constituency, over laxity. The CS took issue with the slow pace of the project during her development projects tour under the national government. The project that commenced in November 2018 is expected to be operational by October 2022.
It is now over 4 years since the launch of 500 million shillings project under Tana Water Development Agency. Out of the 33-kilometer line, only 13 kilometers done, while the rest, the contractor said, has been hindered by unresolved dispute over use of private lands. Speaking during a question-answer session with the contractor and resident engineer, the CS expressed displeasure over the delay in undertaking the project and with no valid justification.
Land delays in land acquisition at the point of commencement. It still continues to be exposed to challenges of way-leave access. As you will, it is a big project because it spans across 33 kilometers from source to the treatment area.
Kariuki said the project, which is at an advanced stage, is to be completed by December.
It is a $500 million project. Therefore, that money has been ring-fenced to be able to benefit the people of Kirinyaga by way of sanitation and improving the sanitation coverage. And I'm happy to note that this is going to be the first of its kind. This is a first structured sewerage project that is going to be serving the people of Kutus and Kerugoya.
Phase 1 of the sewer project will serve an estimated 10,000 persons, and the number will double in Phase 2. The CS proceeded to Kerugoya Kutus water treatment site at Muratiri in Gishugu constituency, where she inspected the ongoing construction of the treatment plant. The CS said the 1.2 billion shillings project, funded by the national government in conjunction with the African Development Bank, is expected to benefit over 300,000 residents. Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Arrested with rhino horns worth 2.1 million shillings has been charged with dealing in wildlife trophies contrary to Wildlife Conservation and Management Act of 2013. Appearing before the Narok resident magistrate, Adelaide Sisenda, 64-year-old Marima Olepesi was accused of unlawfully having in possession a rhino horn weighing 1.10 kg inside a car, jointly with others who are at large. Lawyer Bosibori Ogenga, who represented the accused, said the affidavit contained baseless allegations meant to stupefy the court into acting on apprehensions. The accused will know his fate on the 15th of June when the court makes its ruling.
I have also.
Moving on, several people were injured and property destroyed after chaos erupted during Magadi Shampole Group Ranch officials' election in KAJIADO West Sub-County. Elsewhere in Busia County, cane farmers now want procedure to lease the troubled Mumias Sugar Company re-advertising after stakeholders raised accountability questions. This and other stories in the County News Roundup.
Over 6,000 members belonging to the Magadi Shampole Group Ranch in KAJIADO West were ready to elect their leaders ahead of an exercise to subdivide 62,400 hectares. With only 600 members identified by 5 p.m., a section of members was disgranted after 2 registrars failed to tally. It is then that chaos erupted as members overpowered police officers who were manning the gates, disrupting the exercise completely. Elsewhere in Busia County, cane farmers have stressed the need for the urgent re-advertising procedure to list the troubled Mumia Sugar Company following accountability questions by stakeholders.
Kwa hivyo sisi kama wakulima hatuna imani nao na Devic. Tunataka wa advertise na new players wakuje. Devic huyo ashajipaka matope. Sioni kama tutakuwa na trust na sisi kama wakulima kufanya na biashara.
In Kakamega, it was the same concern, with members of County Assembly accusing Senate of ignoring locals on the debate to lease the company.
Sisi wakaji wa Kakamega ndio tuko na uchungu kwa sababu hicho kiwanda ndio kilikuwa backbone ya uchumi wetu hapa. Wananchi wetu wote walikuwa wanategemea hicho kiwanda. Na ombi letu ni moja tu, kifufuliwe.
Meanwhile, Kenya is among the top African countries that have embraced renewable energy technology as a way of conserving the environment. Speaking when he toured Mitungu Energy Center in Meru, Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation CEO Peter Mbuga said the country has not yet attained the position that the communities embrace renewable energy to the maximum.
We need to go out, let our people know what it is to use renewable energies, to keep our country clean environmentally, and to ensure that we do not cut our trees.
Finally, Nyandarua Governor Francis Kimemia has challenged landowners in towns across the county to develop their parcels as the county administration embarks on a major facelift of the towns.
Zile urban centers zote ambazo ni kubwa tutafanya, baadaye tuingie mashinani pia tutengeneze. Hata huko barabara zetu zimeanza kuinuka kwa hali ya juu, tukutoa matope na kuona kwamba wananchi wetu wanaweza kupeleka maziwa yao na viazi na vegetables, mazao yao katika markets.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bwana Motiso, pikipiki yako ndio hii. Uko shwani yangu. Hii pikipiki ni unakumbuka uniekelea the lowest unique bid yako ilikuwa ngapi? 18 shillings. Na unajua kuendesha hii gari? Kidogo. Haya, kitoko yako shika helmet, kifungu yako chomoka na mali yako.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Mimi afadhali nijitoe uhai, nikufe niondoke, ndio ile shida niko nayo. Mimi mwenyewe niko na uchungu inanikula.
It's quite sad. Let's support such people. Kuna mtu ni mgonjwa. There are some things that you're not supposed to joke with. Let's not joke with life.
It's us to be that good Samaritan, helping that man who was lying on the road.
And welcome back. Let's now get some business. All those who sell goods or provide services over the digital marketplace will be subject to digital services tax from next month. This means online marketplaces as well as social media platforms will become proverbial hunting grounds for the taxman. This is based on the Finance Bill 2021 submitted to Parliament by the National Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, the Finance Act 2020 introduced the digital service tax on income earned through the digital marketplace. However, the current tax provision do not cover all traders who use the digital service platform to transact their business.
The digital service tax is not new. It was introduced in the Finance Bill 2020 and came into force this January.
In this regard, I propose to expand the scope of the digital service tax to include income derived from internet and electronic networks.
The Finance Bill 2021 proposes to expand the definition of digital services to include supplies made over the internet or an electronic network in addition to those made through a digital marketplace. Further, it has proposed to expand the definition of a digital marketplace to mean an online platform which enables users to sell or provide services, goods or other property to other users. This consequently brings into the tax bracket all those generating revenue from the digital space as from 1st of July this year.
These amendments are contained in the Finance Bill 2021 that I submitted to this House in April 2021. For consideration and approval.
Also from next month, Yatani has proposed to introduce VAT on the supply of bread, which will push up the price of bread coming weeks after bakers had hiked prices to reflect what they said was due to a higher price of wheat.
In order to strengthen our healthcare system, make the cost of medicines affordable for Kenyans, and step up the fight against COVID-19 pandemic, I propose to introduce VAT exemption on medicaments used in our health facilities, including decongestants and food supplements.
The exemption of medical equipment and inputs used to manufacture equipment such as ventilators, breathing appliances and medicaments from VAT also takes effect from next month. This means some medical costs would reduce if the service providers pass on the benefit to you. Regina Manyara reporting for Channel 1 Business.
And the cost of living could increase as the Kenya Revenue Authority implements tax measures announced in this year's budget. This is according to the tax and economic analyst from Deloitte, who in their post-budget analysis said multinationals, border businesses, bread consumers and those doing business on the digital platform would be the most affected in the latest efforts to widen the tax base.
Tax economic experts project that Kenya should brace for higher taxes to finance this year's budget, following tax measures announced in the Finance Bill 2021. They say those likely to bear the heaviest tax burden include those in the border business, multinationals, cooking gas users, and those who consume bread.
Multinationals will be expected to contribute more, and generally it will be all taxpayers will be experiencing increased pressure to contribute towards the higher revenue targets.
LPG, government is talking about clean energy, but LPG is going to be subjected to VAT from July.
They say an increase on tax on some products is likely to drive up the rate of inflation.
It's very difficult to have a people-centered budget, particularly in a country like Kenya where we've been facing significant deficits. Our debt has been rising. And in the last 18 months, the revenues have declined severely, and we've now resorted to borrowing even more, not only to invest or to cushion the public, but we are borrowing to pay our debt.
The National Treasury has been encouraged to draft a policy schedule of tax breaks to help businesses adequately prepare their financial books.
Over the years, there's been, a move to either, a shift in the schedules. So you see a product moving from exempt, and then after a few years, it moves to zero rated, and then again, it moves back, to exempt. And what that has done then is to create, uncertainty in terms of whether the item is going to be taxable or whether it's going to be exempt, and therefore it becomes difficult for businesses to plan around, their taxes.
In addition, they want the government to invest more in projects that can generate immediate revenue to the exchequer.
I think the important thing is looking at the social protection and social welfare investments. I think this is an area that historically is suffering. Similarly, agriculture, the productive sector. The investment there has been on the decline for several years in favor for hard, heavy infrastructure, which is majority debt financed.
They further want the National Treasury to introduce fiscal consolidation programs to curb spending and reduce borrowing. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
And moving on, the 3.66 trillion shillings budget unveiled yesterday by National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Ukur Yatani has been received with mixed reactions from members of the public. There are those who have lauded the budget for allocating cash for development projects, and there are those who feel financing the budget is a key concern. Our reporter Grace Mweni sampled the views, and this is what some Kenyans had to say.
The government should look for ways and means of having some of this debt written off because of COVID. And this has affected all the countries, and is something that the government should pursue and see that there are some write-offs.
It was a very excellent budget for 2021, though we had a lot of challenges about COVID-19, but we believe there will be goodwill for implementation of this 2021-2022 budget.
Maoni yangu ni tofauti na wengine vile wanavyoona, kwa sababu ukiangalia miaka hapo nyuma, kama ni vitu kama barabara, vitu kama hizo port zilikuwa bado hazijapanuliwa. Sasa kulingana na mimi naweza sema kwamba bajeti vile inavyoendelea ndio nchi nayo inaenda ikiinuka. Endapo tuko na janga la COVID, hiyo naye pia imetufinya.
However, I believe that the proposal to have every member of a family pay a certain amount should not be allowed by Parliament and even by the minister, because that will be too heavy on families in this country.
Sisi kama mwananchi wa kawaida tunaona ya kwamba tunaumizwa na hii mzigo iliyowekwa inaenda kuumiza sisi.
I want to challenge now the county governments when they will be also having their own budget. I want them to adopt that budget of the national government, especially in terms of education, because today's lion's share the education was part of it.
Wakati bidhaa zinaenda juu na mapato pia mezidi yako pale haendi juu, basi ni kuwasihi wa Kenya basi kuendelea na maisha hivyo, lakini zaidi ya hayo ni kuelekeza serikali iweze kuangalia masuala hayo.
So what I thought they could have also improved is the attention they can give the SMEs. I think the 500 million they gave the small-scale businessman is inadequate.
So we were hoping that food prices was going to be lowered or made affordable, and we expected basic things to have been. I expected some of the budget to go to secondary school.
I think they would have focused a little bit on fish cage farming. Yeah, because this is a new innovation that has been embraced by the local people, but they may be lacking the capital. So I think if they have a structure that can make people get support, I think they would be doing something for the people in the Lake region.
Ndio kuna michezo ya Olimpiki ambayo inaenda kufanyika hivi karibuni, lakini kuwekwe mikakati zaidi ya kwamba talanta zianzie chini kutafutwa kuanzia mashinani zikipanda juu. Lakini zile pesa zikishia juu, basi huenda lile lengo lisitimie na manufaa ya kuongezwa kwa bajeti katika michezo isiwepo.
Angalia kwamba wanaangalia sana ile sekta ambazo zimeathirika wakati wa hii COVID-19, ambapo wanasema kwamba yote yanawezekana, lakini ufisadi ndio kitu ambacho bila kuangalia vizuri hatuwezi kufaulu katika hii budget.
Ukweli wa mambo ni kwamba hakuna budget itaweza kusomwa iwe haitakuwa na mazuri. Yako mazuri na kwingine, lakini mimi hasa nazingatia katika mtu yule wa chini kabisa.
Re-engineering of Postal Corporation of Kenya operations through a rapid adoption of technology will help shore up the fortunes of the corporation. This is according to the Ministry of ICT Chief Administrative Secretary Nadia Ahmed Abdallah, who says Postal's success is highly dependent on the parastatal's ability to respond to fast-changing consumer needs and adapting to new technologies. Here are the details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs.
In a digitalized economy where mail volumes have dipped, Posta has developed new groundbreaking products that complement its core mandate of delivering financial payment, communication, and distribution solutions to its customers. Officials say the corporation was fast transforming into a paperless and cashless modern agency capable of handling any logistical and payment solutions considering its vast network countrywide.
The success of the Post highly relies on the ability to respond to fast-changing consumer needs and adapting to new technologies. This enables the development of suitable last-mile delivery networks, which today are the enablers of the economic, social, financial, and digital inclusion.
The commemorative stamp carries particular significance to us in the postal service sector. This is because it is a tool that justifies prepayment for mail postage.
Meanwhile, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in collaboration with Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, Center for International Private Enterprise, LAPSET, and Turkana County Government, have held a Turkana Public-Private Dialogue Forum in Nairobi on expounding market access for Turkana private sector. The forum had that Turkana County has a wide array of opportunities in sectors such as infrastructure and housing, natural resources, fishing and blue economy, renewable energy, livestock and tourism.
When you support SMEs, growth comes from below and this becomes meaningful growth. Why? Because SMEs will spend their money in the county.
As a county chamber, we can attest to the values of that partnership, which has given us support through creation of the Biashara Fund, which has so far been allocated 200 million Kenya shillings for SMEs, the Women and Youth Fund, and the cooperative, injecting a total of 300 million.
Then on quality assurance, we have also used our Department of Weights and Measures to ensure that whatever the traders are doing is the right way.
Finally, KenGen has started installing a steam turbine into the Okaria power plant. KenGen's Managing Director Rebecca Miano said the turbine is the largest single unit of turbine with a capacity of 83.3 megawatts installed in any of their power plants. The turbine installation and its auxiliaries will take approximately 3 months, including dynamic balancing.
And the British Airways has put thousands of its staff on leave of absence because of delays to the restart of international travel. The airline had begun to bring people back ahead of the easing of restrictions on foreign holidays in May. However, only a small number of countries have been put on the government's green list, meaning that travelers do not have to quarantine on their return. Here are the details of this and other stories from across the globe.
A large number of British Airways staff have been put on leave of absence while others working on part-time, pushing more to go back onto the government wage support scheme in the hope to recommence international travel soon. Those affected include management staff and those not linked to safety operations and playing critical roles. Official advice remains not to visit countries on the red list for leisure, bringing the travel industry almost at a standstill as the majority choose not to travel. A British Airways spokesperson said that many companies were using the leave of absence scheme to protect jobs during this unprecedented crisis. Meanwhile, Japan's Trade Minister Hiroshi Kajiyama says he never directed an advisor to contact Toshiba Corporation. Shareholders accuse his ministry of colluding with company executives to pressure stockholders to fall in line with its management plans after a report by independent investigators. The trade minister said that it is waiting for Toshiba to respond to the report, which says Toshiba's management asked the ministry to help counter activist overseas stock at its annual general meeting last July. The Shareholder Commission report also alleges that the Prime Minister verbally encouraged pressure to the plan that sought to pressure another fund, 3D Investment Partners. Finally, BlackRock has become the first global asset manager allowed to start a wholly owned onshore mutual fund business in China. As China accelerates opening of the $3.5 trillion industry, BlackRock said on Friday that its Chinese fund management unit had won approval from the China Securities Regulatory Commission to start the operation. China scrapped foreign ownership caps in its mutual fund and securities sectors last April as part of an interim Sino-US trade deal. BlackRock's announcements came a month after it received a license for a majority-owned wealth management venture in China. The U.S. fund giant also owns a minority stake in a mutual fund venture with Bank of China.
That's it for business news. We take another break, and when we return, sports news is up next. Stay with us.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome to Hotel Transylvania.
Do not disturb. Do not disturb. Do not disturb.
Human free since 1898.
I love this guy.
Hello? A human. What is this place? Just a normal hotel. Nothing going on here.
I
thought it would be sorry. Is my mistake?
What is wrong with you people? Sir, we have an urgent plumbing issue.
Plumbing?
There is a clogged toilet in room 348. So much for do not disturb.
Hotel Transylvania.
The greatest rally in the world is back in Kenya. Catch all the action of WRC Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. See the world's best drivers navigate their machines on Kenya's rough terrain at breakneck speeds. Experience the thrills, adrenaline, drama and excitement as man and machine do battle. Don't miss out. WRC Safari Rally, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Banki imeconfirm pesa zimeingia. Congratulations Sam, gari ni lako sasa.
Shukran. Oi boss, si uniache insurance yako nitumie kabla nijipange.
We!
Insurance ya gari haiwezi kuwa transferred kwa mtu mwingine. Sina habari na nikuulize. Hii comprehensive insurance inakava vitu gani?
Comprehensive motor insurance inakava gari linapoharibika wakati wa ajali pamoja na uharibifu wa mali ya mtu mwingine, gari likiibiwa au likichomeka. Pia inakava passenger wa gari lako na passenger wa lile gari lingine kunapotokea ajali.
Kwani umenisahau mimi kama driver?
Dereva hakui covered na comprehensive insurance, ila anajitafutia personal accident cover.
Umenichanua. Rose, hata nishughulikie hiyo insurance, nitakujia gari kesho.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA. IRA, bima bora kwa taifa.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We now have a look at some sports. And the 2019 world champion Ott Tanak is determined to follow a different strategy for the remainder of the FIA World Rally Championship season, beginning with the WRC Safari Rally to be held from the 24th to 27th of this month in Kenya. Safari Rally Kenya is returning to the global arena after a 19-year hiatus and will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
Ott Tanak is determined to follow a different strategy for the remainder of the FIA World Rally Championship season. This follows his retirement from the lead for the second time in consecutive rallies in Italy last weekend. The Hyundai Motorsport superstar will compete in the WRC Safari Rally Kenya, being his first ever race on African soil. The 2019 world champion lies 57 points adrift of championship leader Sebastian Ogier, with 7 of the 12 rounds remaining. The Estonian lost a comfortable lead at Rally Italia Sardinia last Saturday when he hit a rock and ripped the right rear wheel from his Hyundai i20. It follows a similar disappointment last month when shattered suspension forced him out of Vodafone Rally de Portugal when heading for victory. Meanwhile, Toyota Kenya have officially unveiled the 00 and 000 cars to be used as course vehicles during the WRC Safari Rally Kenya this month. The two identical Toyota Hilux GT 2021 series were officially handed over to WRC Safari Rally CEO Phineas Kimathi at Kasarani Stadium today. Toyota Kenya and Toyota Shusho Corporation have committed 30 million shillings towards organization of the iconic WRC Safari Rally.
American chess grandmaster Timo Gerev completed his visit in Kenya today as he led a training session for children at St. Clement School, Limuru, Kiambu County. Right, and Gerev's visit has been courtesy of Mini Chess Kenya and Chess Mashinani associations.
Garayev, who has been in the country for 1 month now, has urged the Kenyan government to embrace chess and include it in the school's curriculum in order to nurture talent and grow the game in Kenya. The Grandmaster held training sessions in 4 different schools during his visit. Some other schools that benefited from these training sessions include, among others, Juja Preparatory, Kivulini of Kabete and JKUAT. The Kenya Chess League, which had been suspended due to the fears of spread of COVID-19, is yet to resume, awaiting approval from Ministry of Health and Ministry of Sports.
The opportunity that presented to the youngsters is essential. Then from there on, you got to create a sense of scholarships in universities where the students, having gained the expertise, the knowledge and the experience, they can use, they can progress, and chess will still stay with them at the university level.
Child can't play with a non-challenged child, okay? So as a ministry, for the Ministry of Education, they should try as much as possible cultivate the culture of playing chess in schools, all right? Or adopt chess as one of the compulsory co-curricular activities in schools. Yes.
We are trying to develop as much as we can. We are happy that Rukas Kimani, who is in charge of Chess Mashinani, is really making a very good effort to make sure that at least he brings all schools, maybe who could not have had a chance, to have a chance of participating in this game. I know it's a fairly not as popular as it used to be, but now it's coming up. It's coming up very, very, very fast.
Meanwhile, Korean ambassador to Kenya, Choi Yong-an, has today donated a range of sports equipment to the Kenya Taekwondo Federation through Olympics Kenya. In a handover ceremony, Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Hamina Mohammed acknowledged the Korean government for the generous and timely donation to the athletes, as the federation is at the peak of preparing Faith Ogano for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, as well as other international tournaments ahead. Tokyo 2020 Team Kenya Chief Demission Waithaka Keoni expressed appreciation to the ambassador and his government for the hand of support to Kenya, noting that this was not the first time Korea was supporting sports in the country. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon was not fast enough to win the 1500 meters at the Florence Diamond League in Rome, Italy, losing to world champion Sifan Hassan of Ethiopia. The two battled closely before Hassan edged Kipyegon by just 28 microseconds.
After winning the 800 meters at the Doha Diamond League meeting last month in Qatar, Faith Kipyegon was looking for another win in Florence, but in the 1500 meters. And she pushed world champion Sifan Hassan to the limit, but just fell short on the line, finishing second behind Hassan. Kipyegon clocked 3 minutes 53.91 seconds, 28 microseconds short of Hassan's time of 3 minutes 53.63 seconds.
Brilliant recovery from Hassan. She takes it, a new meeting record, 3:53.62. Would you believe it?
Turkey and Italy get Euro 2020 underway tonight in Rome's Stadio Olimpico 1 year later than planned because of the COVID-19 pandemic. About 16,000 fans are expected to attend the opener, with supporters expected at all the 51 games across 11 countries this summer. Roberto Mancini's Italy have won their past 8 games without conceding a goal and are unbeaten since 2018. Turkey are being tipped by many, of course, to cause a few surprises this summer. This will be the first major tournament game to be held in Italy since the 1990 World Cup. For Channel 1 Weekend, thank you so much for your company. Thank you for your feedback. On Twitter, we had Brian Siche was tuned in from Kitale, and Grace Swamba watching with your family in Nairobi County. Thank you, Grace. Joseph from Oloitoktok, thank you so much for watching. We also heard from Igembo, Kisii County, Miguel Jr. also watching. Always a great pleasure. Adam Skalu from Ongata Rongai. Those are your feedback and views on Twitter. And quickly on Facebook, Stephen Otiwa watching from Migori County. Thank you. And then Blake Rames, you're saying as usual, you're watching to Channel 1 Weekend. Daniel Musemi from Nairobi, Ruaraka, and Karanja, lastly, from Joma Imru, always tuned in. Thank you so much. I'm Purity Museo, and Dusemora has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Do enjoy the rest of our programming. Good night, and God bless.